Hello again, and welcome to the 36th episode of Shardcast. I'm your host, Fritzylvania, and I'll be featuring the second of back-to-back episodes featuring Solitaun, who was a Hex TCG streamer who I found on the YouTube community. Most of my videos are featured off of the Twitch channels. However, this one was found in the YouTube community, so I wanted to feature a couple of his matches. This one's going to be against Pavvo. Pavvo is going to be playing I like to call the American deck, which we all know from the Magic community. It is a Ruby, Diamond, Sapphire deck, as most of us in the Hex community has now grown to love that as the Triumvirate deck. So we'll see if that's actually what he's playing here. In the meantime, Solitaun's going to be playing a different deck than he played in the previous episode. This time he's going to be playing a Wild Sapphire deck, so we'll see how that works out for him. In the meantime, let me go ahead and get you over to that action here. And as I said before, if you haven't followed Solitaun on YouTube, make sure you do so. A link to his channel will be featured below this Shardcast. Let's get you out to the action. Pavvo will be going first. Solitaun looking at a 7-card hand, which will probably keep here. He's got a Sapphire Shard, 2 Wild Shards, Nature's Reign. Nature Reigns. I always get that card backwards. Wild Growth, Feral Ogre, and Howling Brave. Both players keep their 7-card hand. Pavvo will start us off. He's playing Dimid as his champion, but we do know he's playing Sapphire and Ruby in addition to the Diamond. He starts off with a Diamond Shard and Adaptable Infusion Device, which that allows you to go and get a different threshold from any of the resources any of the basic resources in your deck. So he grabs a Sapphire, but more importantly, if you pay 4 resources, you can sacrifice the artifact and draw another card. So it's a pretty unique artifact. Not unique in the fact that it's unique card, but pretty unique to the set, where it helps out the threshold that way. Moving on. Solitaun will drop a Wild Shard and Howling Brave. Very typical wild starting sequence here. So Pavvo may not think he's facing Sapphire, and maybe think he's facing a ramp deck. So pass the turn back over to Pavvo. Pavvo has 1 resource available. Now he has 2 as he drops the Ruby threshold. He has 1 threshold of each now, which allows him to play any of the Lords for the Triumvirate. Those of you who may be new to Hex or haven't been experienced the Triumvirate card yet, in order to get the Triumvirate out and play, you have to get Lord Alexander, which is a Ruby troop, which has 1 Ruby threshold, Lord Adam, which is a Diamond troop, which has 1 Diamond threshold, and Lord Benjamin, which is a Sapphire troop, which has 1 Sapphire threshold. So you need 1 of each, which he already has. So he's already got the difficult part out of the way. Solitaun exhausts his Howling Brave and drops a Sapphire Shard, so he's able to play the Ancestor Chosen and the Feral Ogre out and play, putting some pressure on Pavvo in a hurry. Pavvo drops a Protector Defender after he drops his Diamond Shard. That has the damage Ruby Gem in it. When it comes into play, deal damage equal to his attack power to random troop. So it deals the damage to the Chosen, so off it comes the board. So Solitaun's got a Howling Brave and a Feral Ogre, and Pavvo's got a Protector Defender. Solitaun draws the Menacing Grok, plays a Wild Shard, has 3 resources available. So no doubt we'll see Crash of Beasts. Here it is. Escalation card, putting a 3/3 Rhinoceros with Crush on the board. And that Crash of Beasts will go back in his deck. Any and all copies will now put 2 Rhinoceri onto play when they're next played. We'll see if Pavvo wants to swing with... He's going to swing with both the Howling Brave and the Feral Ogre, hoping that Pavvo is going to trade with the Defender. Probably not this early. Pavvo does. He's going to trade with Feral Ogre. That's not too bad for Pavvo, because the Protector Defender actually shovels back into your deck whenever it dies. So instead, Pavvo will take the crush damage from the Feral Ogre, which is 2, and then the one from the Howling Brave going down to 17. Crush, if you're not familiar with the ability, says any and all damage past lethal actually flows through to the champion. So because the defender only had 1 defense, as you can see right now, as he plays another defender, the 1 damage went to the defender and the other 2 went to the champion. So as the other defender came into play, it does 2 damage to the Rhinoceros, not enough to kill it. Solitaun will play a Sapphire Shard for turn. Champion ability lights up, which is gaining 5 health for 4 charges. Just chooses not to do that this time. Instead, he's going to swing his Rhinoceros and the Howling Brave. Pavvo's going to choose to block the Howling Brave. That's not going to be good this time, though. Solitaun has a Wild Growth back, making the Howling Brave 4/4 till end of turn. So the defender will head back to Pavvo's deck. 3 damage from the Rhinoceros goes through, taking Pavvo down to 14. And both troops stay on board for Solitaun. Gains the 5 health from his champion power, goes to 25, passes turn. Pavvo draws card, goes up to 5. Enter conflict on the Rhinoceros, meaning it cannot attack or block. But that will take all 3 of his resources. He didn't pull another shard that turn. So he'll pass turn back over. Solitaun draws a card. It's going to be a wild shard, going up to 5 resources. He has a Nature Rains and a Menacing Grok in hand. Wouldn't be surprised to see him use that Nature's Rain on the infusion device just to keep Pavvo behind here. Solitaun cannot play the Menacing Grok because Menacing Grok has 3 Sapphire Threshold and he only has 2, as you can see. So he swings the Howling Brave and passes turn. Pavvo down to 13. Pavvo draws a card, goes up to 5. There's another shard. So he goes up to, plays a Diamond Shard, goes up to 3 threshold there. Chooses not to play anything else on his turn, though. Has 4 cards in hand, passes the turn back over. Solitaun draws a Giant Caterpillar, which is a 1/1 troop for 1. That if you reach 3 wild threshold, which he has, you can exhaust it and turns into a Giant Cocoon, which is a 0/4 troop that's defensive. But at the beginning of each turn, you can put a counter on it, a Metamorphosis counter, and then when it gets to 3 counters, it turns into a Giant Butterfly. So Solitaun will swing with the Howling Brave, taking Pavvo down to 12. The Giant Caterpillar cannot exhaust a turn as a Cocoon because it does still have Troop Trauma, which means you can't activate any abilities on it until its next turn. Pavvo draws a card, plays Lord Alexander, which is the first of the 3 lords he'll need for Triumvirate. That's a 3/3 troop with the Inspirability of Speed, so anything with 3 cost or more that comes into play under his control will get Speed, which means it won't have the Troop Trauma, as we saw with the Giant Caterpillar. So first, Solitaun will draw a card, gets a Wild Growth, turns the Caterpillar into Cocoon, and swings the Howling Brave. Maybe he's trying to bait Pavvo again here because he has the Wild Growth in hand. Pavvo, not going to fall for it this time. That Wild Growth would have taken the Lord Alexander off the board. Instead, Pavvo will just take the 1 on the chin and go down to 11. So Solitaun with 3 cards in hand, Nature Rains, Wild Growth, Menacing Grok, and 5 resources back will pass turn back over to Pavvo. Pavvo will draw cards up to 5. Plays a Diamond Shard, and here comes Drew's Colossal Walker. That could be a problem. Maybe. The 5-cost troop that's 8/8 with Crush, and must attack each turn if able. However, when it's exhausted, you have to pay 8 to ready the troop. It doesn't ready on the ready step as it normally would. It comes in with speed because of Lord Alexander. Pavvo gives it life drain. However, Solitaun's got that Nature Rains back that he didn't use on the infusion device, so he can immediately kill Drew's Colossal Walker. Nature Rains says destroy target artifact or constant. Drew being an artifact troop, it gets destroyed. So Solitaun faces no damage there. He'll get the turn back here, 25 health against Pavvo's 11. Draws a Feral Ogre. We'll see that come into play as he still can't play the Menacing Grok. He's still missing the threshold. And he's going to swing the Howling Brave again, hopefully tempting Pavvo into blocking again. Pavvo chooses not to block. Takes the 1 damage down to 10. Solitaun will pass turn back over. Pavvo will draw card for turn, going up to 4. 5 resources available. Here comes another Drew's Colossal Walker, which will get speed again from Lord Alexander. That's why he chooses not to block. So he's going to give it life drain again. This time, no Nature Rains in hand for Solitaun, so he's going to face 8 damage with Crush. Let's see if he chooses to mitigate some of that damage. Probably not, because he's got 25 health. I'll probably let the first 8 go through. Because Pavvo, in order to ready Drew, has to either pay 8 health or have something that readies target artifact or troop. So Solitaun will go down to 17. Pavvo back up to 18 due to the life drain. So what he can actually do is use that 8 he just gained to ready Drew and swing again. Normally you'll do that at the end of your opponent's step. Normally you do it at the end of your own step. That way you can... It has to be a basic action, so it has to be done on your own turn. Solitaun swinging forward here as he plays another Howling Brave. Pavvo down to 14. So we'll see if Pavvo will use the 8 health here to ready Drew. He does not. Plays a Diamond Shard down to 3. Oh, it's because he has another one in hand. So out comes another Druid. It will have speed again. 2 champion powers for Pavvo, so he'll probably get life drain again. He does. So here comes another 8 across the board. So Solitaun will have to take the 8 in the chin. Really can't do anything about it, so he'll go down to 9. Pavvo up to 22. Not looking good for Solitaun. Really surprised that Pavvo didn't activate Drew's ability at the end of his turn to go down to 14 health, but to have a blocker back, because here comes the Giant Butterfly. That's a problem. If you're not familiar with Giant Butterfly, it's a 5/4 flight troop, but if it does damage to an opposing champion, their troops get defensive next turn, meaning they cannot attack. Without Pavvo having any flight troops, he cannot have a repel because he doesn't have 2 resources available. He has Howling Ambush, which reveal a troop from your hand, deal damage equal to that troop's attack power to target opposing troop. So he reveals the Protector Defender, so he kills off the Howling Brave. Either way, 10 damage is going to go through. Pavvo down to 10. However, all of his troops now have defensive, meaning he can't attack with them. He could still defend with them, however, it's going to cost him 8 health in order to do that. So this may have just turned for the worse here for Pavvo. Really surprised why he hasn't sacrificed his infusion device. Enter conflict on Giant Butterfly. Not a bad play. Because now troops are only defensive 1 time. Here comes the Defender, which we knew that was the only card he had in hand. He's going to do 2 damage to random troop. Unless it hits one of the ones on the far left there. Yep, it hits Rhinoceros, doesn't do anything. So back over to Solitaun's turn. Oh, huge top deck. Jadem. That gets another flight troop out there, which we know Pavvo doesn't have any cards in hand. So unless he draws a flight troop in response off the top deck next turn, he's going to be in trouble. Because Jadem can swing for 6, 9 next turn because of the Wild Growth and the fact that the Wild Growth costs 1. Solitaun's going to go ahead and swing with Feral Ogre here. So Solitaun... Sorry, Pavvo blocks. Solitaun's going to exhaust Howling Brave to get 1 resource here. Plays the Wild Growth on the Ogre, which will keep the Ogre alive. Wild Growth pumps Jadem up to a 6/6 because of its cost. For Ogre's now 6/5 with Crush, meaning 5 damage going to go through here. 7 health for Pavvo. That's going to be pretty much it. Pavvo's going to draw a card for turn. Pavvo gets the GG, so that's going to be game. So Solitaun plays a Wild Sapphire deck here, as opposed to the Sapphire Artifact deck he played in episode 35, and gets the job done here, facing what turned out to be 3 Drew's Colossal Walkers. So that was huge, huge for Solitaun. And sorry about that little glitch there in the sound. But Solitaun able to win this game as well, so thanks again to Solitaun for allowing me to use his videos. This is the second video too, if you didn't catch out episode 35. 35 featured his Mono Sapphire Artifact deck, as he played against Damon in that one. So make sure you subscribe to his channel, his YouTube channel. I will have a link to it below this video, so subscribe to it. Also subscribe to this channel that you're watching this on, as you'll be notified anytime there's a new Shardcast available. As well as follow me on Twitter. I do put out there whenever I do post another Shardcast, when I'm trying to put together a live one, which I do ever so often. And again, if you'd like to be featured on Shardcast, maybe you have a couple videos out there, I haven't had a chance to feature you, let me know you have them out there. All I ask is that you have the gameplay screen unobstructed, as you saw here with Solitaun. So make sure if you have a webcam, it's off to the corner or something like that. That way it's easy to be cropped off or covered. And also, some people put their chat on their screen as well. So make sure you have that unobstructed as the gameplay view. Outside of that, I want to thank you again for tuning in to Shardcast. This was our 36th episode, so we're getting up there in count now, so if you have any suggestions on how we can improve Shardcast, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, in the meantime, I'll catch you in episode 37. Thanks for tuning in. So long.